which is, you talked about the need to be energy efficient while at the same time having a target of emissions reductions. And I'd still struggle, having listened to loads of questions and answers about the data centres and the commitment by the government to develop 2 more gigawatts of gas, which very recently, I think Senator Boylan mentioned it, that at a conference, an industry conference, EirGrid confirmed to the data centre industry that 2 gigawatts of gas-fired power is to allow them to develop and to prevent them from shutting down. And do you not think that this is contradictory in terms of the ambitions of the plan and the role of the Climate Advisory Council, that if we take this sort of policy, we are locking ourselves into another 20, 25 years of gas infrastructure, which flies in the face of the idea that we need to move away exactly from this? And my last...
We look at the whole question of the double metrics of energy efficiency and emissions reductions. One of the challenges, and I know there's been a lot of discussion about data centres, and a lot of the fingers have been pointed to data centres in terms of why we had the Amber Alerts. And we had the Amber Alerts this year because 2 gas-fired power stations were out of action. And that meant that we didn't have the backup that we would normally have had from those 2 fired power stations. And we are moving forward now to a very high level of renewable energy, which is a variable power source with stability and frequency challenges for the grid. And when I look at other countries that have an 80% target, and for example, Portugal has an 80% target for 2030, Austria has a similar target, Denmark has a similar target. But all of those are interconnected to large energy markets which provide balancing services to the grid. We don't have that. We have basically the East-West interconnector to the UK. We have potentially Green Lake coming on stream, and ultimately we'll have the Celtic interconnector. We have connections to the north of Ireland, and one which still isn't built. We don't have sufficient balancing support from outside of the island for the volume of renewable power that's planned in this process. So we need to develop our technology and our capacity to maintain stability in the grid over the period of the decade so that we can achieve it. The SPNP needs to move from 75% up to 90% and indeed even higher in order to make it possible to have that level of renewable power in our grid. And that's why the gas-fired power stations are being proposed. It's stability of the grid. Yes, we have a volume increase. We have a volume increase because our economy, fortunately, is doing very well. Our population is growing. And yes, we have data centres that will consume more energy. But it's not only data centres. We are predicting, for example, a 20% increase in population between now and 2040. And hopefully our economy will continue to do well, which is likely to also require electricity demand. And we're moving heating and transport into electricity. So electricity demand will go up over the period. But coping with the stability of the grid, with renewable energy, we are at the forefront globally in this respect. When we get it right, and I believe we will get it right, we will be the living lab for the rest of the world as to how to integrate renewable power into the electricity system. And so this is a short-term fix for that technology gap that we have that needs to be plugged right at this point in time.